welcome back everybody to Boulder Boys Show, episode number 48.
Woo!
We got a new guest here. Introduce yourself.
Hola. My name is Max. I guess, Moist buddy.
Yeah.
Also fan of the pod.
Yeah.
Coming straight from Santiago de Chile. I guess. Yeah.
I feel like we
flew him in. We flew him in for this
yeah,
episode.
we flew him for this episode. He leaves tonight, so we got to do it. Make it quick.
4 hours. 4 hours. Touch and go of Boulder, Colorado.
Okay, Max, give us a little bit of background on your relationship with the sport of ultra running. Your relationship with Moy, all of his deepest, darkest secrets. Anything you want to share?
You know a lot of them.
Oh wait,
Yeah, go ahead.
can I make a couple announcements first? Otherwise, we'll forget, and then they get shoved to the end, and nobody waits to the end. All right, couple shout outs. We got some pancake mix and maple syrup straight from Vermont.
Can I touch that?
You can touch
Can I
it.
hold
dude.
it?
You can hold it. It's been opened. I stopped by.
What?
I stopped by Adam's place on the way here, and he took a swig.
Oh, you stopped by Adam's place.
Yeah. Because I had to pick up the board and stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, just be careful. I don't want you to spill it. Spill it.
This is from the Osborne family, like Ozzy Osbourne.
I don't know about that.
Now he makes like maple syrup. All right.
But Rochelle sent it to us. Thank you so much from Vermont.
Wow. We should make pancakes this weekend.
Let's do it.
We should also just like real maple syrup. Just the absolute best.
I think
Having grown up in a place where there's like lots of good maple syrup being made, so good.
Dude.
Also, this is a shout out to my mother, Rita, who when I was growing up playing hockey in the early days, she used to give me shots of maple syrup in a spoon pre-hockey game. You know, this was the original fueling.
that's
Dude,
crazy.
that is probably like 15 spring energy gels.
Yeah.
But more natural.
250, grams of carbs.
I think maple syrup is has a lot of carbs.
Yeah. Do you think that would last 100 miles?
Well, we can do the amount. There's like 17 servings here, which is 53 grams of carbs per serving.
That'll work.
So it's like 530.
All right,
No,
that's
it's like
mine.
1,000 grams of carb.
Not enough.
No, I think it's not enough for a Western state.
But Moy, watching you shotgun a massive thing of maple syrup at an aid station would be pretty incredible.
And people, I think
People would love it.
I think everybody would like pass out and just
Yeah.
like drop.
Maybe like that
And you
scene,
will win, even if you walk it in.
Yeah.
maybe like
Intimidation
that scene in
factor.
Anchorman where he's like chugging the milk and it's coming down his beard, and he's like, "Milk was a bad idea." Be Moy with maple syrup coming down your beard.
Oh, and sticky. The thing is, like this, like sounds like super tasty and nice right now because it's like cloudy and maybe it's gonna rain, but with like 105 degrees in the canyons,
Kind of sticky.
kind of sticky. I think this is gonna be boiling a little bit.
Now we can chill it. Some chilled maple syrup.
That's actually
Class.
a good point. That's a good point. All right, what else we have?
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you
you
so much.
Who?
Rochelle.
Rochelle.
I
Thank
don't
you
know
so much,
the
Rochelle.
pronunciation. Super stoked. That's the first maple syrup. We're just adding to the items.
Yes.
Another shout out. We got some beans
We got some
from our
beans.
boy Max.
Max can introduce the beans actually.
Yeah.
This
tell
one
us
is
about
easy.
them.
I guess you have guys have 10 plus bags of coffee now as a gift.
Yeah, but this could be the furthest away. Although you did send coffee.
I have
Yeah,
sent coffee before with my friend here. So
Yeah.
this is my second one. I really like this one. It's actually if you want to talk a little bit about it, it's Colombia, right?
Mhm.
South America. So not in Chile we don't grow beans, right? But
Fair.
but we have some good variety from South America, and then this is washed, which is actually my favorite method. If you know about coffee, and this is just for espresso. Right?
Okay.
And normally in Chile, I'm more of a pour over kind of guy,
Mhm.
but I know that here you guys are more into espresso. So yeah,
Yeah. We'll have to pull some shots of that this weekend.
And is this a roaster in Santiago?
yeah. This is roasted in Santiago, and it's actually I bought that the climbing gym, which are now reselling. I don't know if this is a thing here, but
Mhm.
like in Chile now, there's like big roasters that do like reselling for different places, and like apparently now this climbing gym that I go through has this like put their own like label on it, but it's not them, right? It's just like this other
Yeah.
It's like
big
Café
roaster.
Triciclos.
Yeah, it's like Triciclo is the actual
Sweet.
roaster. Yeah.
Super cool. Well, we're stoked to dig into that.
Smells good.
one more announcement. New shirts.
Woo!
Should be live.
Out and about.
Yeah.
with the
You
new
gotta
shirts.
be subscribed to the newsletter. And I think I have the newsletter going out at like noon tomorrow, Colorado time. So if you're not on the newsletter, you might miss out. So
Noon tomorrow, Colorado time, so midnight everywhere in the world.
yeah, Year of the Boy shirts. We'll post it. I don't know.
Yeah. You have the boy shirts.
Yeah.
Shout out to our buddy Bobby who did the incredible art that are on the shirts.
Yeah. Designed by Bobby Peavy, printed by Adam Roth out of Virginia.
Production by Seth, really.
Dude, the combo, those two, the combo is like amazing.
The quality of the I mean, I am in love with it.
Yeah.
Looks very sick.
Yeah. All right. Max.
Back to
Who
the
are
question.
you? No, what what's dude, how'd you meet Moy? Tell we want to hear about Moy's
I feel like I've said
upbringing,
this story
like,
many
what's
times,
the-
like in different avenues. But so how we met is like, okay, we both are. I mean, Moy's been around for a bit, but I met him in Chile, of course, back in 2012, I want to say. So over 13 years now. This like the scene for this is like we were kind of the youngest running ultras back in Chile, where they were only like, I don't know, 100+ people on races, most of them being old guys, right? So I guess we saw each other at a race at a 50K, I think.
My first 50K.
And maybe like my second ultra, Moy's first 50K. And I remember maybe seeing him at the start line and was like, this guy looks like me, right? Like young or like under, I don't know, 25 probably.
Under 25, yeah. The only ones, yeah.
And then we were on the race, and this guy just like flew by me straight down like this dirt road. So I started following him because I was like, okay, this is kind of maybe the only guy in my age group or whatever. So I just like literally started following him. And then like after 5 minutes, I just figure I haven't seen a mark in a while. So I'm like, oh shit, like we're probably lost, you know? So I just started yelling at him because Moy was ahead of me.
That's what he said. He started yelling at me.
This is the true story.
He was like,
Moy always says like I didn't yell, but like I actually, I think I stopped even for maybe 2 minutes to like properly yell him like, hey, I think we're lost. Hey, we need to backtrack, you know? But then it was just gone. So I just turned around, get my, and this was a downhill. So I just like turn around, start climbing back again, find the last mark, and like, you know, go on with the race.
Did you win the race?
No. The funny thing is like this, I don't know, this was like maybe 20K into the race. So it's like kind of early.
Yeah.
And then like, I don't know, another 10 to 15K. This guy is again flew by me. I was like, oh God, I mean, like maybe I not even knew your name.
No.
So I was like, hey, you know, I tried to yell at you because we figured we were lost, and like people didn't say anything to me. So then, okay, I was like second time this guy just passed me, and this time I was like, okay, I'm not gonna follow him. I'm just we'll do my thing. And then maybe like, I don't know, 3K from the finish line, we were not, you know, doing any good. We are not just like fighting for the podium. We were just like cruising around, and I got him.
Yes.
Just like when I was right around the
I
corner
was
from
destroyed.
the finish line.
I could barely move, dude. And it was like so close. And I remember saying, hey, how's it going? But I was like 30th place.
Yeah, we were probably like 29 and 30 or something. Because I got him, and then like literally the finish line was like a couple of, you know, miles after that one. And then of course like I wait for him, and then it's like we properly introduce ourselves and just like, hey, my name is Max, you know. And funny enough, we both were studying not in Santiago, which is the capital, but in Valparaiso, which is like again like a town kind of close to Santiago.
By the beach.
By the beach.
Ocean, yeah.
So we happened to be kind of the two young guys on the race that we also lived in the same city, and we were both into ultras. So kind of that set the tone for basically everything that we did after.
Yeah, we stayed in touch, and then we started running together, and like it's a very cool time.
Okay, but you two are also not just friends. You run Vert Run together.
Yeah.
What was the kind of like leap from friendship into working together?
I think we always wanted to do something together, right?
Yeah, I guess also like before Bird, we did a bunch of little silly adventures in Patagonia. I don't know. Yeah, maybe when we did the thing in Europe, we were already thinking about Bird. I don't remember that part really well. But I guess, yeah, we were always like adventure buddies. We always did like silly stuff. So I guess we just spent too much time together. So it was like,
I mean, there was a point in time where I had a previous relationship, and Max, he didn't like had a house per se, so he would like come Thursday or Friday and stay at this girlfriend's house with me for like the whole weekend. We'll be gone. We'll be like running the whole weekend or doing stuff, and then Monday arrives, and we will both head back to Viña or Valparaiso to like go back to school, and so basically we were like just constantly doing, not living together, but like adventures together and like training together and just doing stuff. And like, oh, like there's this summit, we should check it out. There's this route, we should check it out. Like we should go camp here. And Max had a little blue Peugeot. And that will get us around.
Yeah.
Honestly, that fits your style. I feel. I don't know what
with a massive sticker of Lost. Like
the TV show.
Oh, the show.
A massive sticker of Lost.
We're talking like 2013, 2014.
Yeah, that was big at the
like
time.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were just like always doing stuff together. And then at some point when I went to study in France and I met Kirsten, and like Kirsten kind of joined this dynamic, and the three of us started to do like expeditions in the south. Like Kirsten would be doing photos, and we were doing some sort of like a FKT or an adventure. And then like the three of us started to like toy with the idea of like, hey, like we should like do something together, like build some sort of project or like business or whatever it is, Yeah.
So you guys had spent a lot of time together, had a little vert run baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Guess that's how that works.
Basically.
That's how it works.
Normally how that works. I don't know.
We were thinking about doing like a communication agency for brands.
Yeah.
In the beginning, like run social media and like newsletters and stuff like that. I think probably that would have been easier.
Definitely.
But at some point you joined like an incubator, correct?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
was that?
Yeah, that was pre-vert.
That was pre-vert. Okay.
That was with like with like a pre-vert startup idea, full-on engineering. Max wasn't part of that.
And yeah, but I was at the time working at a startup in Chile.
Yeah.
So
He
I
had a
guess-
full-time job.
I had a full-time job on a startup. So I guess, maybe we weren't like working together in a specific project, but we were both, I guess, within the world of like startups, and like maybe we just need to do something.
Yeah.
I think that just like it clicked.
Yeah. And then whenever this project of the startup, it actually was like a platform for engineering, but in a freelancing method. And it was a great idea for Chile or even in the US. But in France, people don't like to work so much. So like basically like it didn't work in France. And like when we finished this incubator process, I remember I called Max. I was like, dude, like we should do something in trail running. And like on a phone call, Max, Kirsten, and I were like, okay, let's do this. This should be the idea. Let's call it, how we call it? I don't know, Vert. Okay. And we got started.
Easy.
Like the next day, literally, we were just like, okay, let's get started. And we start like setting up emails and like acquiring users and customers and community and building it up. Yeah.
I remember like a funny note there. We were both in Romero. This like, I don't know if you guys know this place in France.
Mhm.
It's like famous because like some old pros used to train there, and we were renting, or you were renting like a tiny apartment in Romero, and we not even had internet. So we had to go to like the tourist office that was always closed, now that I remember. And we had to sit outside with the computers just for a couple of hours, working on the emails and like kind of the like Vert 0.1, I guess.
Yeah.
And we spent like, I don't know how many afternoons just like doing that, and then like going to the pool place, which is the only thing that you can do in La Huerquera, which is the tiny town that we were in.
Yeah. It's like we would like run, like in the morning, we would like tag like 2-3 pigs, like run, like do like a solid run, come back, finish at the grocery store, buy or wait in fruits and cookies, and they work all afternoon in Vert stuff. And like that's how actually, that was like the very, very beginning. Yeah, that was so cool.
That's really cool.
We do the same now though. It's just like maybe
changed.
maybe we like a little bit of more hours into the company.
Yeah.
And more responsibility.
And a better setup for sure.
Yeah. Well,
Now we do have internet.
Yeah. Do you remember that I got like this antenna?
Yeah.
I got this thing to plug into the computer to steal the Wi-Fi from like a
tourist
hotel.
office, the hotel.
A hotel that was across, and I was trying to crack. I will leave the computer at night, like trying to crack the code for the Wi-Fi in the hotel. And I think I got it. I did. Good times.
That's so cool. And I think that so many folks who are in this sport can resonate with the fact that like you spend a bunch of time adventuring with somebody, you spend a lot of time running out on the trails, and you just have the opportunity to like have those conversations that go a little bit deeper each time, and trust is built and friendship is built. And it's so cool that you took that from, hey, we just like love spending time in the mountains together, to we feel comfortable building something together, putting like part of our like livelihood on this initiative. And that's a pretty sweet story. So it's fun to follow along from the outside.
Thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you.
it.
Yeah.
The thing is like building a startup, a project, a company, and those who are business owners know, like it's super challenging. Like I think the amount of things that can go wrong at the same time is particularly crazy. It's mind blowing. And like we have been doing it for a few years now, so we have never had a situation where like a crisis like tear us apart, but like the opposite is like bring us closer, because I think the level of like trust is like so high that like because you see all of these relationships that like when they start a company together they like break. It's like, oh yeah, like he screwed me or whatever, but like dude, we sit down with the numbers and we're like, okay, do we have to pay ourselves less this month? Okay, yeah, let's do it. Okay, what is going to be the solution for this? And like, you take care of that. I fully trust you blindly. And then it's the other way around, like, hey, Mo, yeah, I have no idea how you're going to set up the whatever, the capitalization table for this round of investment. I was like, but I fully trust you. And that trust, I think, is like the foundation of a lot of stuff.
No, 100%.
And make it easier. Yeah.
Do you, I mean, like you speak to those like ups and downs in the business world, in entrepreneurship. Like, do you feel like either of you have like taken learnings from trail running and running ultras and applied it to business and kind of those ups and downs? Like, is there any overlap there?
Yeah, parallels for sure. I mean, first of all, if you think running 100 miles is hard, try starting a startup. This is just the toughest race that I ever even attempt, I think.
This guy did a 500K race in the north of Chile.
I've done some crazy stuff. So yeah, but this is by far the craziest thing. No, but definitely, I think, but to the point that what Moy was saying, I think is ultimately about just like fully trusting your partner, right? And I think in that way, it's kind of similar to mountaineering, and how when you share a rope, with your partner, you're kind of basically trusting your life. And of course, not to be dramatic or anything, but it kind of feels like that. It's like I totally trust him to the parts that he knows about the business, and I would not even care to even know too much, because I just know that he will do the best. Hopefully, it feels the same about me with the stuff that I know. But I think ultimately, again, it's just like putting your entire trust in that person, and then also, I guess, being honest with yourself. And I think that translates well into running, because again, a lot of the time you set up to do a race, and then eventually you even start up too hot, or maybe even too conservative, right? And ultimately, you need to trust in the process and what you did, leading up to a big event, and then just like have fun and execute, right? And the part of executing in a startup, lasts years, and on a race, it's maybe just a couple of hours. But I think that in that way, I can see both things being very relatable.
Yeah. For me, like the thing that I always say is like, entrepreneurship and running, they're both careers that like, how much you put in, but you never know how much are you gonna get out. It could be financially, it could be in rewards, it could be in a race result. Like you're crushing it for Western State. You know how much you're putting in, but you have no idea like what's gonna be the outcome. Maybe it's the W, probably it's the W. I think it's the W. I actually know that it's the W. That means win.
In case people don't know,
in case you guys are not clear.
I appreciate it.
But you know how much you're putting in. You have no idea what's going to be the outcome. And running entrepreneurship is exact same. Like we know how many hours, years, like stress, maybe sleepless nights, maybe travels that we didn't do.
Yeah.
We put in. We have no idea what's going to be the outcome.
I think that's so insightful, and I think that that's also oftentimes like what has drawn like so many folks who fall in love with trail running and to ultras. It's what draws us to it, is that it is like such a strong parallel to any big life experience where you Definitely. Like you care so deeply and you put so much work and you don't know what's going to come out on the other side. I mean, that's what parenting is. That's what starting a business is. That's what, setting a big, huge, audacious goal is. And, sometimes it goes great and Seth wins Western States. And sometimes you end up vomiting halfway up the canyon, like
on a Friday.
on a Friday.
And you know what? Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Exactly. So, Seth, you're back. You missed
I'm back.
You missed your first ever.
I'm back.
You missed your first ever pod
I know.
last weekend.
I know. I'm trading off with I guess I didn't say it at the front. Adam and Matt are not with us. For those who are listening.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah, they're not here.
What's been going on the last week and a half, 2 weeks since the last time you were here?
Well, I don't know.
How's training going?
I was super bummed to miss the last pod. I missed the baby announcement.
Yes.
Congratulations! I had no idea. I found out on the pod. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, even though he's hanging out with Kirsten, seeing it. Yeah.
Yeah, super cool. And yeah, the topics from last week were fire. No, I don't know. I've been good. Yeah, I've been good. I had a little knee scare. I almost joined Year of the Knee on.
How did you got that knee scare? Can we share
Sunday.
some details?
Well, so
was it the training? You just been putting in way
No,
too many
some-
miles.
some-
Some strides?
so on
Was this on the weight room?
You're trying to push it downhill, really
No.
season those quads.
no, what happened on Friday? I don't know if it's been caught on the pod, but
Here, should we just
Moy's
do
been talking
anyone from the North Face earmuffs?
yeah, plug your ears. Moy's been talking a lot of trash about basketball lately. Actually, we've been
We've been trashing each other.
we've been trash talking about basketball for like a year and a half at this point.
Because we
And
know
we've
each other.
never played. And so last Friday night, we were at the park and I brought the basketball. And first it was comical because we get out there and there's like a couple dudes on the court who are making everything. And me and Moy couldn't make a shot.
15 minutes, not a single point. Not a single
shot.
point.
Anyway, so we came back, played a little 2-on-2. And I don't know, I was going up for the dunk, on Moy. I was
Sure.
like 4 or 5 feet up in the air, left-handed dunk, threw it down, tweaked my knee, playing basketball. Didn't think much of it, went for a run the next day. And I don't know, took a turn on the trails and it hurt. And that was that. And then I walked a little bit and ran, and so far so good.
Okay, so what was the kind of process those next few days as you were kind of trying to navigate both the emotional side of it, am I actually hurt, and also just did you take some days off? Did you keep running? Did you ride the bike? What did that look like?
Yeah, I didn't take any days off, I don't think. No, I rode the bike the next day with Josh. But that was more of a out of fun. I don't know. I didn't stress about it. I didn't really think about it too much. Honestly, the glory of that dunk was worth it. And I
Is
just
is there any footage of this?
no. It's, no.
The thing is, the truth is, I was coming in hard to make a huge block. I said smack the basketball on his head, and then I remember he's racing Western, so on the air I had to stop and be like, I'm gonna let it do it.
Yeah.
And he still injured himself.
Well, I don't remember any of that.
But because it was so quick, you didn't saw it. But hey, we're gonna have a rematch after
after
your race.
States. Give us some time. Give me some time to recover.
Right
and
after.
then
No, right after.
right after. Right there at a Placer High School.
Yeah.
What was the process? Oh, I don't know. I didn't think much of it too. I didn't think too much of it, and I don't know. It's just sometimes when knee pain's a problem when it's not, and it was just kind of whatever. So I rode the next day and then went running. It still kind of bothers me a little bit on the right terrain, or the right step, But I just don't take that kind of step, so it doesn't bother me too much. So I might have skirted around near the knee, but I also thought it'd be so ridiculous to have to drop out of Western States because I was playing basketball or something. So I'm not as young as I used to be, man. I was at Valmont, which is a bike park, the other night, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a skateboard because there's a sweet skate park there.
No, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, apparently
you
I don't want to do that,
No,
but
no.
I was pretty adamant. I was I need to get a skateboard, and I was I can't even play basketball without hurting myself. So
No, I think a skateboard is a bad idea.
No, definitely. I've tried, and it's the worst.
Is it harder?
Yeah, I would rather play basketball, and I don't
Really?
play basketball. Yeah,
Okay.
Max is a big football guy. Soccer.
Not
kidding.
really, I
I'm
guess. Yeah.
kidding.
That's
Okay, but
that. No,
you're
training's been good otherwise.
now you're back in full swing.
Back in full swing,
What is it?
like it never left.
Okay, so it's first week of June.
First week of June.
What does kind of the training block look like this week and next week?
So this week's will be like higher mileage than I've ever done in my life, and then next week will also probably be that. So and I'm just gonna wax for here for a second. I got on Let's Run the other day. Normally love Let's Run.
Oh no.
Somebody out there was saying I wasn't training hard enough.
What do they know, dude?
Which is fair. I'm not training as hard as some people.
It is not fair at all.
But
You've
I
been
feel like I'm
training your
training
ass
pretty
off,
hard.
and you were so goddamn
Yeah.
fit.
So, yeah, thank you to I forgot their handle.
The nickname, yeah, you have to use.
Yeah, I
the
gotta use it.
handle.
The
It's like-
handle. I can't remember it. Anyway, so no, high mileage this week, high mileage next week, and then maybe I'll start to taper like halfway through, like 10 days out. I'm not a big like 2-week taper person. I'm not even a big like 10-day taper person, but I've never ran this much in my life, so I don't know. But no, been good. I did a workout with the fast young kids the other day, and it was good. Like I'm not slow, but I'm still running a lot, so it's kind of nice. Yeah. Post Grand Canyon had some leg speed left.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Without nuking people at the track. Was also the slowest person on the track, actually.
What kind of volume is like the most volume you've done when you say that?
Yeah, I've done 109 before, and I think at the all things going well, I'll get like 115 this week. So 6 more miles.
That's more than enough, dude.
115 plus
Yeah.
a full-time job where you're on your feet all day.
Plus a
like
full-time job.
that is a
With
a
workouts,
large load
Yeah.
that the body's dealing
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
With workouts and vert,
Don't forget the training I'm getting walking my dog
and then Fisher.
4 times a
Hey,
4 times a
sometimes
week. or
Fisher is a little shy. He doesn't want to go to the bathroom, you know.
something.
Uh,
Walking forever, you know.
but dude, like, I think that's plenty of miles for.
Yeah, seems
For-
like enough.
But also, like, who cares? I mean, dude, honestly, in the US, people is obsessed with miles. Who cares? Your body
Yeah.
doesn't know miles. Like, just look at hours and cardio output
How do you feel? You
and
know?
training load. It's like
Yeah.
and how you feel. It's like they're like you're doing a bunch of hours, but you're also doing quality work and you're doing vert.
Yeah.
Like
Also, my
miles is like overrated. dude.
Yeah. My pet peeve is like, so there's somebody that I'll be racing, super nice guy, ran like 165 miles last week. Super cool. Nothing against the training, but everybody like was stoked on it, you know? And it's like running high mileage isn't inherently training. It's just running, you know? Like there's a difference between training and just running. And like not saying this person's training wasn't training, but it's like just mileage is like not training. So
You say it like, dude, we should make a teacher with that. Next collection, running high mileage is not training.
But then I'll wear it with the hat. So Max gave me a hat, which dude, I need to put it in the wash because that's why haven't worn it in a while because it's like super sweaty because I ran it a lot. And it says like normalize high mileage. And then with the t-shirt that says high mileage isn't overrated. Yes.
Hey, honestly, I think
They both exist. They both can exist.
That's the thing. Two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah, there's place for everything, I guess.
Yeah.
I have to say though, as an outsider, right, meaning a Latin American runner, it's funny as Moy was saying, you guys are very obsessed with mileage.
Yeah.
And I mean, like the standard of like 100-mile a week. For example, in Chile we do kilometers, right? So we don't do miles, and no one is gonna go around and say like, "Hey, I did 160-kilometer week." Like no one. People would be like, "What?"
Is there an equivalent? Like if somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I hit my like 200K week." Is that like
250 is like the equivalent?
250?
I haven't. I mean, no. I think maybe except for maybe the both of us, I don't think ever someone has hit 200K in Chile.
Really?
I mean,
Ever?
I mean, maybe like an old marathoner type of guy, but I don't think trail runners in Chile would hit that.
That's
for sure.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Like in Europe too, like people is like way more obsessed with time on feet.
Time
and
and
vertical,
vert.
right?
Or
Time and vert. But here it's like mileage and pace. And like also pace is like a big thing.
Yeah, pace
like
is a big
pace.
thing here, but like, dude, like,
And don't forget the gap. We like the gap.
And which is like you mathematically is wrong.
I don't
too.
even.
So it's
I
like-
don't
it's
even.
like
Where do you
the-
find that in Strava? Right?
On
Like
Strava.
okay.
My favorite is the chorus effort pace because it says I'm like way faster than I am, you know?
But you know what? Whatever stat makes you happy,
Yeah.
follow it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that this is always the case leading up to Western States, is that ultimately like what matters is like super individual, and what matters is that you get to the start line healthy. There's a whole bunch of folks that are not getting to the start line healthy, and every year that's the issue. I'm not like a huge part of that is that people are overtraining.
Yeah.
Two, you got to just like feel confident, and like what it means to feel confident is different for every single person. And you know, I think that the problem is that a lot of folks trick themselves into believing that if I just hit this mileage, I'm going to feel more confident in my ability, versus trying to find like what is it actually that I need to do to feel really confident. But I think that, you know, the easiest thing to do is just to run more miles.
It's true.
But
It's
there's
true.
plenty of examples of folks racing super well at States, doing a whole ton of different training methods. And like right now we're in this moment where, you know, more is more,
Mhm.
but like we'll see what happens in the next couple of years if more is more leads to longevity, if more and more actually leads to like performing at a super high level for multiple years. And we don't know what that is going to look like yet.
Oh, we kind of know. We have seen it. Like
We have seen it. There's been
Yeah.
a history. The generation before us
like-
did this, ran incredibly hard, and a lot of those folks are not
Yeah.
able to run.
I
at
mean,
same
the
level
only one
anymore.
that I see around is Killian. You know?
Yeah.
Killian.
But because it has a ton of skiing in the winter, man.
Yeah.
Because-
That's true.
Exactly.
It doesn't run year round.
That's
Yeah,
the thing.
That's a good point.
Like at the end of the day, in my mind, it's like you want to have a strong cardio output, you know. So you have to keep building the engine, and you can do it on skis, on a bike, and I don't know, swimming, and then you have to like take some time to prepare the chassis for the race, which is like running, like specific running workouts to get fast and efficient and all of that. But like if you have a strong like running base, if you have been doing it for like so many years, you don't need so much. And a clear and a good actually sign for it is like kind of what Killian is doing right now. I don't know if you guys saw the video.
No.
Do you guys know this guy Killian? It's like kind of up and coming. It's
Yeah.
like
I think
What's his last
you
name?
have a poster of him in your bedroom, right?
yeah, he's naked. it's
It's
on
with the
this.
schema spandex.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
He's wearing those
naked.
little white shorts. Well, he's got like,
jumping. He's jumping.
well, he's got Killian and Gordy, just like
Oh my
shirtless
God,
Gordy.
yeah, yeah.
spandex Killian.
Gordy, the guy from Western States, no Gordy from Rafa. We know a couple of Gordys. So he was like injured, right? Like IT ban. And the dude, first of all, he's doing a session of 3 hours of HIIT training 3 times a week.
Yeah,
Because-
he's hella heat training.
Yeah, because that's his weakness.
Yeah, that's
Like he basically got tested. He's like, I don't sweat. His body was hitting like 39 degrees
Whoa.
Celsius
Without
and
sweating?
So
without
hot.
sweating. He would
Damn.
start sweating like very late, so extremely inefficient for cooling.
He also lives in Norway, which
So that
doesn't help with the hot with the heat. Yeah.
Session of 3 hours of HIIT training on the bike or on the treadmill. But on top of that, he's like doing key running sessions where he will do like a 40K and race pace with same verse, same stats to get the mechanical stimulus. But he's not obsessed with like mild repeats or anything like that. He's just like preparing the chassis and also have been building the engine for like so many years that like it's something a little bit of not at the level of Killian, but something that I myself feel a little bit right now, which is like my engine is like very strong and I can run very hard and I can like if I were to run in zone 2 on flat, it would be like a crazy speed. Not for everybody else, but like at least for me. But then like I actually mechanically can't hold that. Like my glutes start to tighten up and then my hip flexors start to like flare up and then my Achilles. So like all of these things start to like fall apart. So you have to build a mechanical like tolerance. But so mechanically you have to get the mechanical stimulus, but like you can build the engine in so many ways. And I think that's what the Euros are very good at.
Yeah.
And you too, you did it for years because you were doing triathlon.
Yeah. But I kind of had like almost an opposite feeling last winter where I was like, oh, I'm not a good enough runner. Like I was like, I'm not good enough at running. And then so I think there's for me, I think at least what I feel like I found out is like I am thriving off of like a structure of running all year round.
Yeah.
Which I say that, and I'm very much hoping to not have that structure in July. But
what are you gonna be doing July and August?
Riding my bike. Yeah, but I do feel like I don't know. It's like this weird thing where like I always in years past was like, oh, I'll just go skimo or I'll ride, and like looked at training volume a lot more. And then I don't know, this last block I was just kind of like, no, I need to like be running more and running like at certain paces more and like trying to kind of just like actually like training all year. And I think that's what it's taken for me, but I think it's different for everybody, right?
But also I think that it's fair to have those periods.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that they are like they have to be one or the other. It can totally be like
100%.
you have a year or two where you're like really focused on running.
Yeah.
And maybe then you have a little nice break where you're like only doing other stuff for a couple of months, you know?
That's a good point. Is there another oh, beautiful. It's starting to sprinkle on us a little bit. We're trying to keep the mixer dry. How's the computer looking?
Nice. Keeping it dry.
There you go. All right. Beautiful.
We can also like move inside if you guys want.
We're doing fine.
I feel good for now.
Yeah.
Right.
It has been unfortunately rainy and cold.
I'm already used to the rainy days, cold.
Yeah.
Sunny Colorado. They say.
You never had a sunny Colorado, I don't think.
This trip has been kind of wild. The weather has been kind of whack. Also, we have this thing on Sunday too.
Made national news. You probably heard about it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's right. Mine was like,
I always, last time it was the windstorm, like
It shut down.
electricity went down, it shut down.
Except
so,
for the German restaurant. We went
except
over
for
there.
the German restaurant.
It was a bright light. Yeah, unfortunately wet.
Well, psyched you're back from this knee hiccup.
Yeah. Don't take me off your free trial. I didn't even miss a day of training.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just kidding.
and if you want to take him out, yeah,
That's fine.
that's fine.
I also
but
don't care.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the podium.
Do you guys, any of you guys play fantasy free trial?
No, I don't have time for that.
I told you I've never done it, but I will do it for
You do
this
it.
time. Yeah,
Nice.
The first person, first.
I'm gonna
last.
have one pick, Seth. Okay, bye.
I don't even know how you play it. Like, you have to go to a side. Like,
You
how
gotta
is it?
you gotta wire $150
To you.
to Dylan's
Okay.
personal account.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I can Venmo.
Yeah. It's
He does take
fantasy.
Venmo.
But you have to pick 10.
I don't know how
You
many
need to
you
play
have to
like-
pick.
I don't play.
I think you can pick however many you want. But yeah, fantasy.free trial. I don't know. I always try to go on it at work and it gets blocked. So I think the word fantasy cuts it out at work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In the Wi-Fi?
Just blocked.
Fantasy.
They don't like
They
that.
don't want people fantasizing in the hospital.
No.
Okay.
All right.
Let's keep
Anyway.
moving.
I don't know, like with like bets and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. Okay.
Like bets, like betting.
Oh. Yeah, no good. Did you race this weekend?
Did we talk about it?
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought there was an episode in between. I had a race in the weekend.
Yeah. We talked to that you were going to go.
I had a birthday, and then I had a race, and then I had a baby shower.
Shout out to Carrie Ann.
Yes.
Had a birthday on Friday. This is where the
Yep.
basketball was had. We had
The incident.
We celebrated. We
incident.
then went to the Downer.
We went to the downer.
If anyone is in Boulder, the Downer is just such a great vibe.
Pool
The
tables, darts,
sound down saloon.
Sundown
Sundowner
Saloon.
Sundowner Saloon.
Dude,
You
we
know,
had a great
played
time. Play some darts.
Yeah.
And at some point during the evening, probably at like 10:30, Moy goes, "Okay, I gotta go." And we're like, "Moy, where are you going?" And
It
he's
might
like, "Oh, I'm racing tomorrow."
Yeah. It might have been earlier than that. I think I was in bed at 10:30.
No. I left around 10:30.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I went to bed
we
like
must have been,
11,
shortly behind you
11:30.
then.
Yeah. No, I was late, yeah.
But you went and raced the next morning.
Wake up the
at-
next morning.
What time did you get up?
My partner fell failed me. Didn't want to come at 4 a.m. on the car.
That was me. Yeah.
So
My
I don't
partner
blame you.
arrived the day before, so I wasn't gonna leave for Danny, for joining you at 4 a.m.
So I
Boys out here like my crew abandoned me.
made
I had to do it by myself.
made myself a sad bagel, a quad shot espresso, coffee, and hit the road I actually left around 5 a.m. Like I didn't left that early. Driving sunrise, listening to some Radical Face alone in the
Nice.
car. Not bad. Made it to the race, dude. Wonderful race. Great Aravaipa race. Aravaipa just do such a good job with the races. Super lucky, super chill, super nice. The pick up took like 30 seconds. They gave
Love
me a
it.
teacher. And then a bib. I put the bib on, and the teacher, I think I give it away or something because it was like before the start. And dude, like great vibe. Honestly, great vibe. The race start. I was feeling very good. We start with like a very runnable climb, maybe like 5-6% incline, and then I was feeling so good, like my breathing easy, and I push a little bit, and I was like, was on the lead, and it felt like, okay, I should be on the lead actually, and it felt like very controlled, very nice. Then like I was with 2 other guys, and like we were running together, and I was like on the lead, and then somebody else was on the lead, and it was all feeling very good. Then at some point, like in a second climb, started to go up, and like my Achilles kind of blew up, and I had a hard time like running well on the climbs. So then I have to take it extra easy on the run, but on the climbs. But the truth is that this race is called North Fork. It's so forgiving, and also the field was very forgiving. Because like I slowed down a lot, but like it's like a lot of downhill, so you can just like cruise through the downhill. Beautiful course, like so runnable, not a single rock, dude. Incredible mountain bike trails, but beautiful. Highly recommended. You guys can run that race in like 3:30, like for sure. So I wasn't really able to push that hard, and then I kind of like took it a little bit easier. I didn't want to break something. So that's what I was saying before, like my engine was feeling great, but mechanically it was actually hard to sustain the pace for the whole race. So I slowed down a little bit. Managed to finish 3rd, which is pretty cool. I was, stay in 3rd place for the whole rest of the race. It's great. Feelings, like sensations were great. You finish the race. It's like super chill. And there is a food truck, free burgers.
Oh, incredible.
Within 10 minutes of crossing the finish line, I already had like finished like a massive burger.
Dude.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Dude, like, and then like they had like coolers with like beers or drinks or like, Fantas and Coca-Colas and Pepsi. Got a couple of those. Maybe 30 minutes later, podium, picture, and then I was off, back to Boulder, driving.
Amazing.
There's something so great about local races.
Dude, so nice.
And just like waking up in the morning in your own bed, driving a couple hours, running hard, coming home. Kind of takes the pressure off of it too. You know, where you're just like, oh, this is, and like I feel like it reminds me of how, like those are the experiences that I had when I fell in love with the sport.
Yeah.
Was like, for me, I was living in the Bay Area. There's an incredible local race scene. And you'd be like, you'd have a friend that'd be like, oh, I'm running this race on Saturday. And on like Wednesday, you'd sign up and then you'd just go and race.
I don't know if you can sign up on Wednesday nowadays.
You can't anymore. You can't anymore. You used to be able to.
Filled up.
Yeah. Now it's harder.
Yeah.
But it's like it's that's how it should be. You should go back to that. But no pressure. Just like having a good time.
How are the Achilles feeling now?
I have been riding a lot.
Okay.
And also like and I'm taking a little bit of like an easier week, so not running much. I think the Achilles, but also like everything else that compensated, it feels like very fatigued.
Yeah.
Like hip flexors and all of that. I went to see an ace today.
Shout out to a nice at In Motion.
Yeah.
Did you get a nice little massage?
A nice 2-hour session, dude.
2 hours?
She went over by 30 minutes. He gave me a 2-hour massage.
Wow.
That means that I was like, there was a lot of work that needed to be done.
I think I'd be wrecked if I had a 2-hour massage.
I like fell asleep like 3 times for like a 20 minutes period. Each time. Great. She is so good, dude. So I'm feeling good. I am like gonna get back into training like running training next week probably.
Cool.
I want to take a little bit of an easier week and like be more flexible, ride a lot. I'm really enjoying the bike. I did a workout on the bike yesterday.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and it let me tire.
I bet, dude.
Yeah.
Do you have power on your bike? No,
I am the power of my
you
bike.
are the power. Okay. Okay.
No, I don't have a power meter.
Okay.
But heart rate, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm feeling,
Yeah,
you know.
You do have power on your bike?
I do have power. Tells me I'm slow.
You have
So that's
know
how
your
you're doing.
FTP and everything?
Huh?
You know your FTP and everything?
No.
But it's 412.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I just use zone 2 at like 400 watts or whatever
Yeah,
Tade does.
Yeah.
So that's just like Simon Yates,
Yeah.
on that final climb.
Casual.
Just 400 plus watts for an hour.
Yeah, easy.
He lost a Jurro there in 2018.
Okay. This is pivot.
We're gonna go from we're gonna go from like a fantastic running race, probably the most competitive of the year in North Fork, to another very competitive race, the Giro d'Italia,
in the middle of nowhere in Italy.
In the middle of nowhere.
that nobody cares.
Nobody cares about. The Italians don't even show up. They don't come out for it.
Yeah.
If folks have not gone back and watched the last few stages of the Giro, unreal. Anyway,
It was a good stage. It was very inspiring and very frustrating at the same time.
I'm psyched that you just were like, I'm just gonna go race. And like I feel like that's the energy that we want to all put out in the world. Like,
What's crazy to me is that you woke up not knowing if you were going to go or not.
Yeah.
And then you still went.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's impressive.
I wasn't, if I woke up and I was like wrecked from the birthday or like super exhausted, you guys were going to do a very cool route too. And I was like, that's a very good plan B. It's always great to look.
Yeah.
So, but I woke up and I was like, I don't feel that tired. I'm going to give it a shot, And also like at the end of the day, it's just running.
It's true.
Just running.
It's just running.
And like we can like have egos but like dude, like you go, you put a beep, you give it a shot, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, you drive back and then like go to freaking have a coffee with Max or you guys, and the life keep going. It's just running. So I wanted to test a little bit. I wanted to finish a race before a baby comes, and I wanted to see how I was like feeling. The thing is like fitness wise, like the engine, I'm like, okay, like is here. The engine is great. Like fitness, I feel like very fit. Just have to work in the mechanic things, and that's entertaining too because it's a challenge on itself.
I'll give you the full PT routine from Hannah. All good.
Send it over. Yeah. Okay.
Is that like, is that legal to share?
It's
medical advice?
Yes. 100%.
Okay.
Sign up
Okay.
to our newsletter and you may receive a copy.
Yeah, it's the Drew Holman program. Wink, wink. Via Hannah,
Yeah.
who's a boss.
Yeah.
So.
Dude, yeah. Thank you for asking though. Great weekend.
Good, good.
No racing now until September.
Cool.
Which has me so excited. No pressure. How are we feeling for Laredo?
I'm so excited to just be in the Dolomites.
You should be.
You leave soon.
Leaving in a couple weeks. I think we fly on the 19th or 20th of June. No, I'm just like super excited. Like I've heard such incredible things about that race. Moy and Kirsten connected Sasha and I to this hotel and good friend of theirs just south of Cortina. So we're going to go hang out there for the week of the race. Tyler Green's coming over, so we're excited to spend some time with Tyler. And yeah, we've been, Topher and Kim used to spend a lot of time in Cortina when Topher was working and leading the North Face Europe. And so, they just sent us an awesome email of like a bunch of their favorite spots in Cortina. And I don't know, this is a huge part of why I race. And just being able to like engage with these communities and these places in a way that I would not have the opportunity to otherwise. But I'm getting recs from my best friend who lived in France, who raced in Italy, from other friends in the sport who have spent a lot of time there. And I just think that's like the coolest thing about the sport is like we get to go and, we get to go and try to be competitive, but we also just like to go and have these incredible experiences all over the world. And like for me personally, my community is so much broader than it would be if I didn't have that. And so just trying to anchor on that for the race, and and then I'm just going to try to bury myself.
But let's talk about that. Yeah, that's the part I want to hear. Also, I mean, this is very important and loving and beautiful.
Yeah.
And then
But
I'm just going to
tell us-
absolutely destroy myself.
Tell us.
and I hope it goes well.
Yeah. And then the next day you're gonna be, and then at the finish line, I remember last time when I finished, dude, grab a pizza and then cheer everybody at the finish line
No gelato.
after.
Oh.
But like you want savory right after the race.
That's true.
And then I think I had a pizza and then a calzone. To try a calzone farcito.
Okay.
Oh man, maybe I just we have to use the oven this week. Okay.
Dude, I just want to know what's your game plan to beat Tyler?
Well, Tyler's racing the 120K, so I don't even have to
easy.
beat him.
Easy.
'Cause
You're
I'm
already
running the
going to finish
80K.
before him.
Yeah.
No big deal. Okay.
So, but historically, on that day in June, I don't have a great track record against Tyler. So
Yeah, but that was then. This is now.
different. Exactly. So
Yeah.
I wasn't scared, Tyler, or anything.
No.
I didn't.
I think
opt
he was
down.
scared.
Yeah,
He was like,
he was scared. He went.
I
got
gotta
to
go
longer.
a little longer. Like I'm already gonna be out there for forever. I might as well like run a little longer. That's what he was thinking.
Dude,
But no, I feel like I'm in pretty good shape. We've had such a great thing going here in Boulder with the crew. Like we're getting really. I mean, honestly, our runs the last 2 or 3 weekends have been so surprisingly good.
Yeah.
And we've had this problem where at some point, at every point throughout the run, somebody who is on the run is like in a push.
Yeah.
And it's just meant that we've had some like really, really good intentional hard runs.
Yeah.
So
Where at some point you're just like, why do I feel so bad?
Yeah.
And then you realize that everyone around you is like, oh, because we're working super hard.
Yeah.
Dude,
And it's like, and there is like Seth pushing the freaking climb of amphitheater, and like, just look at me. He's like, we just can't get dropped. And then we get to the top, and then Drew started like pushing the downhill because he happens to have a like push downhill day, and then Katie's like, okay, what's going on? And we have to like don't get dropped. That's the rule. Those runs have felt much harder than the 50K of last weekend.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
dude, that happened this past weekend. We're climbing up Flag, like the super long climb, not super steep, and I'm like dying. I was like, we get to the top, I'm like, I'm turning around, like something's wrong with me. And then everybody else is like, yeah, we're dying too.
Wait, this was
hard.
this weekend.
This is this past weekend. Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, no, I think that's like great. We have like that's a great. The thing is like sometimes it's good, not all every long run, and then when the dynamic and the vibe is like this, which is like there's not like ego. It's just like like okay, if you say like I'm blowing up, there's like somebody else gonna be like, yeah, me too. All right, let's keep it chill. Okay, it's like there's not like so much like measuring of genitals. It's just about like. Yeah. This is a family-friendly podcast, so.
No, I totally agree, and I think that's like, it's so fun when you have a group like that where, I feel like everyone who's run with a group consistently, the dynamics change throughout the year, throughout the years, depending on who's in, who's out, who's feeling good, who's feeling bad, and I think it's been really fun the last couple months where it's just like, man, the vibes are so high, and I think that is so good for racing at the highest level, training at the highest level. I mean, if anything, going into Lava Rideau, I'm like, am I even in that good of shape? Because I'm constantly running with like 5 dudes who are so goddamn fit. But
Yeah.
I think
everybody's just so sharp right now.
I think that's the best testament that like fitness is very good. Honestly, like you're hanging with everybody. We're all hanging with. It's like, we're freaking hanging with Seth and Josh and Kate and you guys and
so should be fun.
Yeah,
excited.
Should we do some voice memos?
Yeah, that was the goal of the day. And we're like 1 hour in, not a single memo. Like today, because originally it was gonna be like maybe just Seth and me.
And you're just gonna do
it's just some voice memo. I was like,
we're like, it'll be like a 30-minute pod. We'll just rip through some voice memos and call it a day.
Keep the consistency going. But then now,
way to show up for Max. Max really, dictated that we would stay serious here.
I still feel like very intimidated with the whole setup. Yeah.
You should feel intimidated.
Especially now that
Do you
I'm
want to
seeing
push
all
the
the
button?
colors. No, that looks way too intimidating.
Okay. All right. Let's lock in here. This is normal. This is every time. All right. We are gonna play some voice memos from people. Preferably people. All right. This is from Rich.
Roll.
Yeah, Rich Roll just sent us a question. That'd be tight, actually.
Hey, Boulder boys. Peace.
No.
Namaste.
All right.
I use a back surgery.
Oh, dude, it'll be loud enough.
All right, Boulder Boys, I got a two-part question for you. This is Rich from Seattle. Part one, how do you guys feel about running with poles? How do you, in particular, decide when to carry them or not? Super curious about that. I've figured out this spring that I really don't enjoy running with poles. I'm curious how you guys navigate that. Part two. This is really, I'm curious what Moy and Drew in particular have to say. I got Lavaredo coming up in 4 weeks, and I'm trying to figure out, do I commit and bring the poles, or do I leave them at home? Wondering what you guys have either done in the past or what you're going to do this year. So yeah, all things poles. Thanks for everything you do. Let me know.
Great question.
Dude, that's a very good question.
Was this Rich Lockwood?
No.
No. Okay. Different Rich.
Dude, what a good question.
Moy starts off.
I have a rule. Poles for races that have more than 6,000 meters of vert.
More than 6,000?
Yeah.
That's a lot of.
That is so much vert.
But the thing is that like I am very good at, if I have to hike, I'm very good at hiking with my hands on the knee.
Fair. I've seen
You
that.
guys have seen that. So
Yeah.
So like for me, poles is like about being able to keep moving at a decent pace uphill on the last 1/3 of a race. And I know that my threshold of being like, oh, like I'm like very, very like struggling is like around 6,000 meters. And the question about Lavaredo, which is a great question. I've done it 4 times. The 2 times without poles were my best results. So, but the poles can be super, super helpful in Lavaredo if you're gonna be like, I am trying to run all the climbs because they're actually all runnable. You have a very big climb if you're doing the 120K. You have a very big climb that is Val Travananza, and yeah, that's like like a 10 miles climb. If you have poles, super helpful. For me, it's early enough and it's a gradient steep enough that I can run it without poles, and I feel very confident. And like, yeah, I don't have to. I carry less stuff, but it's actually like, yeah, I wouldn't do UTMB without poles, for example, right? But I would do CCC without poles because it has less than 6,000 meters. So I think it's very personal. I like poles, but I also like don't like to carry too much stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
I have used poles at Worlds in Austria, at CCC, and at UTMB. And all 3 of those was super psyched to have them. I think that for me, I'm not like the most efficient person with poles, but I just like love the way that it gives me an opportunity to just kind of like change up my motion for a period of time and kind of just like change the way that the brain is thinking about just moving. And sometimes it's actually like good for me early in races to pull out the poles to just slow myself down a little bit. Like I think that first climb on CCC, I pulled them out when you get to the steep part where you're going up to Tête de la Tronche. And it was mostly just to be like, okay, I just want to find a steady pace and I don't want to like, go too hard this early. But then I don't know if I really used them too much until the climb out of Triant, which was the year where they changed the course and it was just straight uphill. So it was not a grade that I could run really. Steep. But for like the Lavaredo 80K this year, I'm not going to use poles. Like I haven't been training with them at all.
Yeah.
It's a more runnable course. It's a little shorter.
Yeah.
I kind of want to force myself to just like run as much as possible, even when it's getting steep, and just like kind of get into that like little tiny. Anytime I'm trying to run more of things, I just think about like little tiny steps and just like keeping the cadence up, and even if I'm moving the same pace. But that's the kind of running that I do a lot of, and it's like the kind of running that we do a lot of here in Boulder, just because of the crew that we're running with, where even on steep climbs like amphitheater up green, there'll be one of us that's like kind of trying to shuffle. Moy will be hiking faster than all of us, but the rest of us will be trying to run. And I just feel like that's like where I am more comfortable, and so we'll be poleless, but I think poles are great.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if you bring poles to a race, use them in all the climbs. Like, I think that like people, like I would see people saving the poles for like the second half. It's like, you're already carrying it. Like, freaking use them. Like, get use out of it from the beginning.
Yeah. Max,
That's
do you like poles? Are you a pole boy?
I used to be way more strict about this, and my answer was always no poles.
Yeah.
But I think as I'm getting older, I'm like, yeah, sure, like I can bring poles.
Yeah.
But I think
the lower back needs some
if
poles.
you're having doubts, you shouldn't bring them. I think
I
normally you know when you have to bring them, and like basically you know from your heart. I think I could get a lot from using poles. So if you are having second thoughts about it, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
I think that's a really good recommendation.
I agree.
Seth, how do you feel about poles?
I hate them. They're so stupid. Like,
Oh my god!
it's not even like, I think the Euro mind will never understand what it's like, but pole, like, they're useless. They don't keep you standing upright. Like, I fall more when I'm carrying poles. They're like,
Are you bringing
know,
poles to Western States? Killian
No.
is.
I'm sure he'll need them for all his walking. But
good one.
no, I mean, I tried really hard to use them for Canaria, and obviously that didn't go well anyway. But it was just like they're in, they're out. It's like I'm already having to think about one. I like running, like just running, and hiking hurts anyway. And then like I'm already thinking about like drinking water, taking the gel at this hour. Now I got to think about like this pole thingamajig and then like getting them in and out and then clicking the button. No, I think a big Lecky is out here trying to tell you need poles for these things. You don't.
Yeah, this is also why Seth is going to be the 10th American man to win CCC, because he's going to go out, set the CR on the first climb, and then just like win the race by an hour because he doesn't hike anything.
Yeah, it's a new era. All right,
Dude, I will never forget Tempo. Let's do a Tempo up Sanitas Ridge. Okay. Tempo became a freaking like literally a race.
Yeah.
Seth and I like just like going so hard. Seth is using poles halfway through. Seth just like take the poles, throw them into a bush and sprint. That's when I was like, okay, this is serious. So yeah, that's the last time I saw Seth use poles.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even use poles properly when I'm skiing. So I don't like, I don't know. I haven't skied with you in a year, Drew, but the last time I went skiing, I was like, I don't even know what to do with these. Like at some point I'm just holding them in my hands. Like, so, I don't know.
Great question though. Great question.
Great question.
Yeah. Dude, I'm getting chilly. We have more?
Oh, we have a lot more, but this pod has gone longer than we had thought it was going to. So
I'm like cold.
Yeah.
I don't want
Let's wrap it up.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up. We're in the rain. You probably can't tell if you're listening or watching, but we're getting rained on.
Max, thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining.
It was a pleasure, guys.
Yeah,
thank you.
Glad you got some more
Do you have
rainy
any-
weather
Yeah.
here in Boulder. You know,
Do you have any
Hopefully I can see the
parting?
sun one of these days.
Yeah, it doesn't exist here anymore. Do you have any parting thoughts?
No, I'm again happy to have been part of this. I'm a big fan of you guys. It's incredible to see you guys running here. Boulder is a very special place for the people who hasn't been here.
Mhm.
I'd always say you need to come here and just like go for a couple of runs because it's like very, very powerful, I think. So yeah, no, that's it. I will be looking forward to seeing you at Western States and cheering for you.
Yeah. Oh, we're looking forward to you moving here.
any day now.
Any day.
This is where World headquarters is.
Yeah,
You know,
I had
so,
his passport. Kind of burned it.
Maybe Vert needs to implement a return to office.
Yeah, policy. Yeah, I'm gonna do it myself.
Yeah. All right. Sweet. Thanks everybody for listening. Episode number 48.
Thanks, y'all.
Check out our website if you want some shirts. Limited drop, only like 80 of them going on the site for now. So
Yes. Let's go.
Sweet.
Year
All
of the boy.
bye.
Peace. Good. That was
Great work, guys.
dude.
Great pod.
That was like, oh, we're gonna do so many memos.
Okay, one of these days we're gonna have to rock through the memos.